Seams, seams, and more seams. Right now, our boat has dozens of seams due to the fact that it's a kit, which came to us via a couple of 40-foot shipping containers. And all of these prefabricated pieces of the hull needed to be joined together. After initially bonding them with methacrylate at the flanges and a few layers of fiberglass in the interior, we've kept ourselves busy by building out that interior before moving back to the seams that sit on the outside. Back in the spring, Matt went through the project of removing the exterior gel coat around those areas so they could be glassed together. On the underside of the boat, we made an attempt at finishing by covering the glass with fairing compound and then spraying gel coat. It was a short-lived project as we ran out of gel coat quickly, and also got distracted by the interior again. But now that we're restocked and we still have decent ambient temperatures inside the tent, it's time to pick this project back up.
We're into warmer weather now, and since we're not fairing enough at all on the boat, I figured now is the time to start getting rid of these seams, filling them in, making this boat look like one solid structure. While I can still wear full Tyveks and all that stuff because it's not too hot, I'm going to go through and knock this strip down. The tool I'm using, I'm gonna give this guy a shot. It is a 30mm belt sander. Just gonna try to get a strip so it just goes over the edge on this side, just enough to get a bite in there with the fiberglass. Get over the top of these little screw marks that we talked about before. No clue how long this is gonna take me. It may be an all-day project, and it may create quite the mess in here, but I think it's really, really good to get that started. Ugh. This place is a mess, and it's only going to get worse when we get gel coat flying all over the place. Belt sander did an absolutely awesome job on this. Very, very precise. And actually the dust collection isn't too bad. This piece of heat ply sitting next to there is barely dusty. Get that laid up, and then we'll start fairing that in, and it's gonna eventually gel coat, and it's gonna look like one solid molded piece. You can see a lot of that white gel coat within the lines here. That was, I didn't sand far enough when I was prepping those flanges to get bonded together. I figured at this point what the ideal was is to backfill with thickened gel coat, make it basically a gel coat paste. Problem is when you start getting into that thickness, you can get a lot of cracks that form from there. So the way that they're doing it in the yard is they're grinding back like what I just did, applying some tape, some fiberglass to it, and then gel coating over the top of that. That's all preventing cracking that's going to form in there. So we decided to do that same thing, of course. Now what I need to do is go in and surgically remove that gel coat that's actually remaining in there. What I'm doing is using a grout removal piece with the oscillating tool, and just grinding that whole surface out. You can kind of see what it's done along here. I'm actually going to add some fiberglass strand so it's like 10mm, 3/8 of an inch length strands to that total boat mix to give it a little bit more oomph, and then just kind of backfill in there, and then I'll glass over the top of that. Gonna make the boat one piece today. going through and filling in this little joint. This is the back of the cockpit area. First thing you see when you come into the tent is this. I'm going to have to fill in this crack, this area here. If you look in here a little bit closer, you can see where the flange, where these pieces went over the top of each other. Some area we had squeeze out, so we filled all the way through. And there's little light areas right here. That means that the methacrylate actually didn't fill all the way through. And now what it's allowing me to do is inject some thickened resin into this area and around there and give it, so again, it's gonna be a nice strong piece there. And then we'll put the layer of fiberglass on, and then we have learned from doing the gel coat underneath, we are going to fair it properly, then we'll spray gel coat. See, it's a little bit stringier than usual. Isn't it cute?
Such a little guy.
Little guy. So I just gotta try to not get to go over the edge. I'm gonna have to go through and sand it down anyway, but huh? Now the process is going to be, again, this is kind of experimental for us, as is this entire build, but what we're doing now is just cutting back the gel coat here, basically just abrading it, so when I put the fairing compound on, I can fair from this round to this round and hopefully get a nice big flat surface along here, and not screw it up, and then be able to spray gel coat on it at a later date. But yeah, so just the biggest thing is trying to make sure that I don't ruin these beautiful little edges here all along there, because that's going to be an absolute pain to try to get back later on. I'm so excited to finally see these green strips be no more. The fairing compound I'm using is that same Total Boat fairing compound, which is a white, which will go over and at least give the illusion that this is all one piece eventually. So I got that to do up there. Give this a shot and see how well it works.
There would be multiple rounds of sanding and fairing to come, and since we've already overwhelmed you with too much of it, we'll just let you know that there were areas where we weren't getting a flush line, and they would need to be focused in on and filled. But soon, we'd be ready to spray the area and see how our efforts paid off. With our new gel coat in, we wanted to test out a section before applying it to all the areas that had been worked on to make sure that the color match done was indeed correct and that it would blend well with the existing gel coat on the hulls. We decided to work on the stern where the cockpit seats met the deck and where the transom bonded to the hull sides. With the first application, everything was going on smoothly, and it was amazing to see the transformation of the boat, having gone from individual pieces bonded together to what looked like one solid mold.
Alright, got the first coat on. What they're calling for from the gel coat manufacturers, they want a light coat first, let that flash off, then 5 mil layer on top of that. So that's the reason why I was using that wet thickness gauge on the stuff that I've sprayed. So the idea then is we need to do 5 more coats to build it up to 25 mil. 5 each time, which is going to take a while, but we'll go through spray, get all these layers on, and that final layer I'm going to end up adding wax to it, so then that will actually fully harden, and then I'll be able to go through and wet sand and hopefully get that finish that we're looking for.
Unfortunately, it started raining halfway through application, even though we had just checked the hourly weather before starting and no rain was in sight. But now it was a torrential downpour, and this old tent does have holes, but we are already too far in to stop. After a few more minutes, the thundering stopped, and checking outside again, it looked like things were clearing. We let it cure overnight and it's looking really good. If you see a green tint to it, it's because Matt sprayed something on extra that should make it easier to sand. So of course this color is not going to be blending in much now. You can obviously see the green a lot more here. But unfortunately we do not have time to sand it this morning. Won't actually even see the progress of it this week because we have other places to be. We're about to head in the car and leave beautiful Kent Island behind for the next 5 or 6 days.
Your